But now, tinnitus is becoming a symptom of other major diagnoses of auditory system. Making sure that your claim, the auditory diagnosis that's going to be best suitable for yourself, or having any issues or symptom of that auditory diagnosis, then that would be your best bet or best way to go.
Let's start with tinnitus, right? Which is a very popular one in terms of things. Veterans oftentimes really experience hearing loss and tinnitus related issues. And, that's one in my field of real estate where they use that a lot of times to get their 10% so that they can actually avoid paying that funding fee on their loans, right? So, what are the proposed changes for tinnitus in particular there?
Great question. So, first and foremost, I want you guys to understand as military personnel, 9 times out of 10, you guys are going to be exposed to hazardous noises on a regular basis, okay? And that includes obviously even being within HR, right? You can be HR or you can be MWR, right? Morale, welfare, and recreation, right? So there's so many different jobs and duties out there that are exposed, however, may not be in direct contact. Okay, that's first. Okay, so again, I want you to know 9 times out of 10, you are going to be exposed to some type of hazardous noise that could actually affect your hearing. But now, when we're talking about the proposed changes, tinnitus was one of the, again, whether if it's pronounced tinnitus or tinnitus, whatever you guys want to call it, but that diagnosis, that was something that was actually something that was a quick gimme, right? A quick, hopefully, because trust me, the VA has denied many claims of tinnitus, okay? But that was supposed to be a stepping stone for the rest of your claim. And you're supposed to be able to get 10% based upon that auditory issue. But now, tinnitus is becoming a symptom of other major diagnoses of auditory systems. Well, what does that exactly mean? Well, let me explain. So, if you are presented with a major or a diagnosis of an auditory issue, such as hearing loss, such as otitis media, such as just a ton of hearing issues, right? You can even group that with such things as vertigo, right? Vertigo, because it does affect the equilibrium and so on and so forth. But when we are able to group those things, tinnitus could become a symptom of. Now, if you have a major diagnosis of hearing loss, well, if tinnitus is not a symptom of that, and you are actually provided a service-connected condition, if hearing loss is not a service-connected condition or any other auditory issue, well, you are then not going to be provided that grant of that 10% or whatever diagnosis rating criteria there is. So that is proposed to change. How does it affect you? Well, it affects you because you are not able to get a 10% rating based upon tinnitus. How can you avoid this being affected, you being affected by this? Well, first and foremost, you can call us so we can be able to assist you to be able to get a full case file and get the education that you need and make sure everything is in proper place to get your, again, hearing loss or tinnitus claim pushed, okay? Because we want to make sure that we're providing you the education to get it done. So at the end of the day, submitting your case is as quick as possible. That's going to be able to give you some opportunity to hopefully get service connected. Okay, and even if it doesn't, provide you an overall rating decision, submit your claim as quick as possible. Submit your claim as quick as possible when we're talking about tinnitus, because that proposed change is coming down the pipeline and it's coming fast, and you will be affected. And if you think you're not, again, we're dealing with the VA, a federal government agency, which outlines any jurisdiction over a veteran. So trust me when I tell you, get your tinnitus claim submitted ASAP, even if it's denied. Even if it is denied, in which I'm gonna make sure that I really provide you some real value of information towards the end of the video, amongst any type of submitted conditions. Okay, and just again, for anyone that has a question, if you are grandfathered in with tinnitus and you already have a rating of tinnitus that is already applied, it does not affect you. Okay, you're under a historic rating criteria. So whenever you got rated at that time, even if it was 2004, historically, you're kind of placed under that criteria. So you're going to be good to go there.
Absolutely. Well, that's a great point because I was coming with the questions, right? I'm always going to make them answer those hard questions that I assume, veterans may have there. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know one of the things that you mentioned here was in terms of making sure you get the claim in as soon as possible, right? So now, obviously, there's an intent to file where you
Mhm.
have 1 year to file your claim. However, with regulations changing, you have to actually submit the claim before the regulation change, not actually have your intent to file pending, correct?
That is a good one. Veterans, you guys hear that? Did you guys understand that question there? If you have an intent to file that is already submitted prior to the regulation change, what outcome will be applied to your actual tinnitus claim? Well, let me tell you this. Your rating or your intent to file, that is in place to affect your actual effective date of pay, not your rating criteria. So, with that being said, again, subject to change. That is going to be able to provide your rating decision at that historic time when you submit the claim. So that's why I mentioned make sure you submit your tinnitus claim as soon as possible. But if you already have a pending intent to file prior to next year that should be ending, I would submit a full claim. But if you do not and you've been kind of slow poking along, well, I'll tell you this, that there may be, unfortunately, you may not be able to get that 10% one. So at the end of the day, the intent to file only actually affects your effective date of pay. It does not change your decision and if they're going to go back historically at that time of rating decision, because frankly, you're not being evaluated at that time. So at the end of the day, get your case file in as quick as possible.
Great information there. Now, with the new regulation change, it's going to make it more difficult to get um, rated for tinnitus, understandably, but it's not going to make it impossible, right?
Yeah.
So, how can veterans who are even our active duty service members, right,
Hmm.
who are
Hmm.
like, well, hey, I'm dealing with those issues, I'm still active. Obviously, I can't file a claim now. What would I need to start working on now to meet the new regulation criteria, or is that kind of a mixed bag right now because we don't necessarily know what that new criteria is going to be?
Well, I'll tell you this. You can join our community to find that out because that's a kind of in the crux there. You'll be able to join our community. We'll go ahead and press a link down below to be able to get a lot more information than that. But what I'll tell you is this: is that obviously there's many auditory diagnoses. Having an auditory diagnosis does not exclude one another. So, with that being said, making sure that your claim, the auditory diagnosis that's going to be best suitable for yourself or having any issues or symptom of that auditory diagnosis, then that would be your best bet or best way to go.
Sounds good, man. Said very, very well. We have the Veterans to Veterans app that's actually available in the Apple Store. You know, we
Yes.
working in getting in the Google Play Store for you Android users. We don't have anything against you. It's just the process is a little different. Apple kind of had their stuff together a little bit sooner, right? So we're in the Apple Store right now. So if you have a iPhone or Apple device, you can actually go ahead and download that. However, you can actually access that from your computer as well. So you
Mhm.
don't have to actually join the Learning Center and have everything just on your phone. So whether you still have a Windows computer, different things of that nature, go ahead. You can still be a part of the Learning Center. You just can't have it directly on your phone, but I'm sure you Android users are very clever anyway. You could jailbreak it and put it on there. So I'm not even worried about you. You'll be able to get that going for you. But we'll have a lot of wonderful information and that detailed insight, right? Because there's only so much value we're going to be able to provide on YouTube for you. The nuts and bolts and the different details that you want to hear and those specific questions, our community members are gaining access to that information. So you're here, you're watching this video, become a community member. We have Learning Center courses, we have the community. We're building a very robust set of offerings for our veterans. Really excited about that. We would love for you to be a part of that. And for new users right now, it's free of charge. We're not charging you anything to be a part of that community. You can come in, ask the detailed questions. We try our best to answer the questions here on YouTube. However, just like Mr. Davis said, he's only going to give you so much sauce on YouTube, right? He's only going to give you so many of the secrets there. Our community members, those who make that extra step to join that community, they're going to be getting a lot of value there. There's no reason you shouldn't be a part of that Veterans for Veterans community.
No, true indeed. And there's just so much content and so much deliverance of information that we could provide you, in the community. There's special resources, there's special deals, okay, including we know you veterans out there that love to invest. You go on deployment and come back and you sold about 2 to 3 houses. Well, there's again a property values on there. There's so many different things that we're going to be able to provide you guys exclusive for the veteran community, because again, we want to see you guys succeed. So if that success is going to be able to simply joining the community, providing your information, why not? Get exactly what you deserve. And again, having a place where veterans are celebrated and not tolerated is where you want to be.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, and where you want to be right now is going towards the next topic here. And we're going to get
Yeah.
into the next topic of sleep apnea. So, we're going to be talking about that. Stay tuned.